In my presentation, I'm going to be talking about smoking, alcohol, and substance abuse in women. The use of alcohol and drugs, as well as smoking, has tarnished the stereotype of women being innocent and not falling under societal pressures as easy as men. When women begin to abuse drugs and alcohol, they are looked at as trashy, especially for women with children who are assumed to be unfit mothers. Society creates nicknames for these women, as well as men, such as crackheads, potheads, or really any drug name with the word head after it will suffice. Smoking, drugs, and alcohol have been around for decades, and the rise in women abusing these substances has also created a rise in related health issues, cigarette profits, rehab programs, children being put into foster care or adoption, and various more global concerns relating to this health issue. There are quite a few barriers women face due to the addiction of drugs and alcohol. Most women who abuse substances are of childbearing years and can cause critical, long-term damage on their children if they use while pregnant. This is a major health concern in today's world, especially because of the constant demand in illicit drugs that can be a problem for women with addiction who are also bearing a child. Because of the increased rates of substance abuse in women, researchers, clinicians, and experts recommend that substance abuse programs address the physical, social, and mental health needs of a woman while she is pregnant, as well as the child's needs. These integrated programs have shown to be effective in reducing the engagement of alcohol and drugs for women during pregnancy, as well as bettering their mental and emotional health to prepare themselves for motherhood. While some women may be able to afford their addiction, others may turn to other methods for payment. Prostitution is illegal everywhere in the United States except for Nevada. Much like the US, prostitution is illegal in most of Australia, but the legalization of it falls under each state's guidelines. Although it's illegal, it does not mean that it doesn't happen because prostitution can be seen really anywhere. Women will rely on prostitution in order to gain drugs or alcohol from anyone willing to give it to them. This ties in with societal factors as well as health issues. By women selling their bodies for drugs, they are looking at bigger issues such as risks for STDs, sex trafficking, rape, and being given a laced drug that could kill them. Some women's addictions are so extreme that they'll do anything to gain what they think they need, but are much better off without. If it means representing a sex symbol, they will do it. Substance abuse can lead to a long road of legal complications for women. If women are knowingly abusing drugs in front of their children, this could be a case where the state gets involved and their children are taken from them. Back when I was a senior in high school, I was in a class where women living in a halfway house would come in to share their stories about their addictions and the consequences that came with it. There were several women who were mothers to more than one child and either had custody of just one child or didn't have custody at all. They would have to show their efforts in becoming sober and get on the right path, or else they would never see their kids again. Luckily for some, this was the motivation to get better. Because of substance abuse in women, it's understandable why there is an overflow of children put into the foster care system who have nowhere else to go. Once these children are out in the system because their mother is considered unfit, it's an uphill battle for getting them back. Mothers who suffer from drug or alcohol abuse do not realize the harms they are putting not only themselves in, but their children as well. Continuing on to more health issues relating to smoking, substance, and alcohol abuse in women, physical health is a major factor that deteriorates the body from the overuse of drugs and alcohol. The medical costs due to substance-related fatalities have seen a rise over the years and may be more common in low poverty areas. Morbidity and mortality associated with substance abuse have been mistakenly overlooked throughout all of healthcare, causing deadly circumstances. The medical conditions that put a female's health at risk are never ending and most of the time are life-threatening. According to the CDC, lung cancer can be caused by endless years of cigarette smoking as well as other tobacco use. HIV, AIDS, and hepatitis C can result from the sharing of needles for drug use. Clogged arteries can result from years of alcohol consumption as well as liver disease, heart disease, stroke, digestive issues, and multiple types of cancer such as esophagus, mouth, throat, and more. There are various amount of other physical health problems that result from the use of drugs and alcohol for women with addiction. When a woman is intoxicated, she may be more susceptible to irrational behavior and can end up fatally injuring herself or even causing her own death. The two countries that I want to focus on are the United States and Australia. While I feel like the United States will have more articles and higher statistics of women experiencing substance abuse, I'm excited to learn more about Australia's side of things. To start off with the United States' recent statistics on smoking, drug, and alcohol use in women, it is reported that 15% of females ages 18 and over have used illegal drugs in the past year, which is roughly 19.5 million females. An interesting fact involving drug intake in women is 6.6% of females ages 18 and over misused prescription drugs in the past year. Prescription drugs is how America found itself in a drug epidemic in the first place, so it's interesting to see that a similar idea still occurs. As far as alcohol, 13% of women report binge drinking and on average binge drink 4 times a month, consuming 5 drinks per binge. Nearly half of adult women report drinking alcohol in the past month, which is quite a high statistic considering the population of the United States. In 2019, it was reported by the CDC that 4% of women overall and 8% of women ages 18 to 25 had an alcohol addiction or disorder. As far as smoking, cigarette smoking kills an estimated 202,000 women each year in the United States. In 2006, 13.5% of women had smoked. For women, the smoking rates vary depending on racial and ethnic groups. Rates were shown to be higher for American Indian and Alaska Native women and lower in Asian American women. Women in America are also very targeted by tobacco marketing because of the ads that associate cigarette smoking with a skinny figure, social desirability, and having fun. As far as Australia's facts on women undergoing substance or alcohol abuse and smoking, the statistics that I gathered vary greatly. While 1 in 9 women smoke daily, women living in outer regional and remote areas were 1.6 times as likely to smoke daily as women in major cities. Women living in low socioeconomic areas were nearly 4 times as likely to smoke daily as women in the highest economic areas. 1 in 3 women are exceeding the daily drinking guidelines, meaning that 31% of women consume more than 4 standard drinks a day. On average, 1 in 11 women 18 and over consume more than 2 standard drinks a day. As you can see, I provided a graph on the slide that shows the proportion of women aged 18 and over who did and did not exceed a single occasion drink alcohol risk guideline. While 31% did exceed the 1 drink a day health guideline, 69% of women did not exceed it. As for illegal drug use, in 2016 it was reported that 3 in 20 Australian women aged 14 and over had participated in drug use in the past year. Overall, according to the Australian government's database, there has been a decline in daily smoking rates in women, fewer women exceeded the single drink guideline for alcohol, and illegal substance use remained relatively the same. Here is a video that is part of a segment that was featured on Dr. Phil. I included this video because it shows the daily life of a woman who struggles with substance abuse addiction in the US. You'll see how she finds food and basically anything that she can get her hands on, as well as her family members briefly expressing that they can't believe how bad her addiction has gotten. Moving on to the sociocultural factors for substance and alcohol abuse in women, there is quite a few to mention. As I previously talked about, prostitution is a big problem involved in substance abuse for women of all cultures. The legalization of prostitution negatively impacts the involvement of women in drug use. This makes it seem like it's the answer to gaining drugs or alcohol for women because society portrays that it's normalized. Prostitution is not limited to one specific woman's ethnicity, but it is involved with nearly every race, as well as ages from very young to as old as a woman searching for a way to get drugs is. On a similar wavelength as prostitution, Women may be used to sell drugs because they are seen as sex symbols and are viewed as more trustworthy. Society views women as more trustworthy because they do not want to hurt or disappoint anyone. So on the streets, people may find women easier to buy drugs from. This puts women in a position of being taken advantage of or being put in a dangerous situation. Some women will do whatever they think is the easiest way of gaining a profit so that they can use it for their own addiction and do not consider the danger that comes along with it. Danger and substance abuse can also lead to jail time. Women being arrested and put in jail for drug crimes do not understand they are risking time away from their families and damaging any opportunities of living a clean life. The incarcerations for women have increased over the last decade, and it may be found that a good amount of charges involve illegal drug affiliation. In a study done at a large urban county jail in Ohio in May 1999, 165 women were interviewed, and of those 165 women, 72% were African American, aged 30 to 40 years, and 56% of women had graduated high school. It was reported that almost all the women had children. 50% of the women had reported they needed substance abuse treatment compared to the 50% who did not, and there were no significant differences in age, race, ethnicity, or education between the two groups. This was just a minuscule of numbers from a small county jail located in Ohio, so it's only imaginable the statistics that could be recorded for many other female incarcerations in need of help or drug or alcohol abuse. More sociocultural factors would involve the idea of not all women believing that substance abuse could cause them to be physically or mentally ill, when in reality it can. These women live in denial and will most likely be the cause of their own death due to overdose or drug and alcohol-related deaths. They don't understand any other type of lifestyle and do not believe they have a problem. Sometimes the environment they are surrounded by plays a big role in determining how worthy they feel of being able to live another life. Luckily, on a more positive note, there are advocates for mental illness and rehabilitation centers many places you go. There are commercials on TV, billboards, magazine articles, social media accounts, brochures in hospitals or offices, guest speakers who come into schools who preach living a clean life, but to seek help if you need it, and so much more. There are celebrities who are very passionate about promoting taking care of mental health, and that is a great outlet for women who wish to seek help because they know they are not alone. Halfway houses have also been looked at as a great way to get sober and try to get back on track. The support system in halfway houses is what really helps women thrive in excellence and dig themselves out of a dark hole. Going over to the ethical side of things, there are a few things important to go over involving substance and alcohol abuse in women. As far as rehab and treatment programs go, it is essential for women with addictions to seek help in order to better themselves and their lives. Society advocates for getting help when it's needed and knowing that it's okay to need help, especially for women. Sometimes women are scared to face the fact that they have a problem, but rehab programs have shown to be effective and educate women on their problem as well as the overall consequences of a substance-filled life. Communities truly come together to help promote leaning on each other in order to get better and live a healthy life. The government also helps in this situation because there are treatment programs out there that are funded by the government which could be found in hospitals. As controversial as it may sound, foster homes for children are sometimes a better option for kids when they have nowhere else to go. The state and government try to place children in an environment where they will excel best, and although it's been said that the foster care system is a very scary place, sometimes children do not know any different. There are amazing outcomes when children get placed in a home where they end up being adopted and escaping a life that could have been filled with drugs and alcohol. Social workers try their best to help in these kinds of situations. A great community effort to help prevent the use of drugs and alcohol and smoking is programs that are used in elementary and high schools. For women, they address the higher risk of sexual outcomes that could happen when getting involved in drugs and alcohol. These educational programs help promote living a healthy life and to stay away from substance abuse. Last but not least, and I think the most effective, is a support system for women to lean on. When it comes down to it, knowing that you have people behind you who are willing to help you and support you can make a huge difference. Having family, friends, and those social support groups and halfway houses, like I talked about earlier, can make a change in a woman's life. Communities do a great job at trying to help those who seek help and will never stop advocating for helping prevent substance and alcohol abuse. Overall, smoking, substance, and alcohol abuse is quite a problem in today's world for women. The health factors that are at risk can go on and will not lead a woman to a healthy life. The best way to avoid the possible cancers and heart problems that stem from drugs and alcohol would be to not get involved with substances at all. The medical costs due to substance and alcohol misuse has skyrocketed and needs to be put to a stop. Between the United States and Australia, it seems that the United States has higher risk statistics when it comes down to alcohol, smoking, and drugs in women. This could be due to the fact that America's population is larger than Australia's, or that Australia's health prevention is overall better for women. The statistics I found for both countries differed, and the United States showed higher percentages in women for drinking more than one drink a day and having an overall higher percentage in smoking. The way both of these governments broke down their statistics made it a little harder to compare, but when looking deeper, America's numbers were larger. While concepts such as prostitution, jail, mental illness, etc., play societal factors in the use of drugs and alcohol in women, it's up to every community to step up and take responsibility for these issues and their involvement. With less prostitution and street drug availability, statistics in women's abuse could see a decrease. Rehab centers, global advocates, social media, community programs, support systems, and halfway houses play positive roles in promoting a clean life for women opposed to a substance abuse life. It's something as simple as letting a woman know that she will be okay in order to see a change in the statistics. Smoking, alcohol, and substance abuse discourages women in today's society, but with every positive step that there is to take, there can be a serious change made. Women can help women, and communities can be the backbone in helping make a change. I hope you all learned something new, and thank you for watching my presentation on smoking, substance, and alcohol abuse in women.